In the midst of rising gender-based violence cases across South Africa, a Durban community has created its own violence-free zone. Using their own resources, Newlands East residents are securing their neighborhood to ensure that the case of gender-based violence are immediately investigated. Our reporter, Karinda Jagmohan, has more.
It's a story about a community doing it for themselves. This area in Newlands East, the specific block, has been a hotspot for violence for many years. In fact, prior to the formation of the rapid response team, there was apparently a chop shop here where hijacked vehicles were being brought. But following this, and after we've seen the rapid response team create their violence-free zones around their area, ultimately awareness was created. And very recently, a week ago, we understand that police intervened and arrested perpetrators, as well as put an end to what was happening here. And that's because essentially of the work of the group of women you see before us here. They created this rapid response team, violence-free network from last year, and is thriving now. Let's maybe perhaps grab Pastor Dorothy Adams. You look at the faith part of this response. There are various responses. Quickly, ma'am, if you can explain to us what your contribution is.
My contribution as from the faith-based, we holistically need to bring back the spirituality as much as the morality into our community, which was once here and which has lost the essence. But slowly it's building momentum, and we're gaining ground of what our community, the peaceful community we once had.
Absolutely. That's then looking at the holistic part of it, speaking to the faith when trying to intervene in cases of domestic violence, for example. There's also then, ma'am, Jacqueline Walker. You're also a resident here, and you look at the social aspect. Tell me about your work.
Well, my work is to help feed the community, change it, make it better, because unemployment is also a big part of it. That's why you see chop shops and selling of things, because we can't find jobs. So what I come in with the help of Nadia and all other members in the team to help give food, uplift the community so that there's no theft and there's no hunger going on in the community.
A very important aspect. Thank you, Jacqueline. I want to speak to these three ladies. They look at issues of bringing gender-based violence awareness to young people. Nabila and Juliet, you work at schools. Tell me about the response to schools. Let's start with Juliet and then Nabila.
Okay, we've been working at the moment with learners from schools, but during the holiday programs that we put together. But now our primary focus for this year, we want to work together with the Department of Education and other stakeholders and take our initiative into the schools and create violent-free schools.
Nabila, what exactly are you teaching the children?
We want a safe school environment that has a different mental change, and we need also new culture in the schools. Culture of safety and culture of good schools with everyone safe in it, including the educators.
Then Nicolette here speaks to the teenage aspect, youth, looking at how teenagers need to be more wary of this issue of abuse. Nicolette, what are teenagers saying? What are you trying to change there?
Our objective is to create and change their mindset. As youth, these are our future leaders, and these are our future leaders in our community. So these are our future ambassadors. So we're trying to create a safe place for also our children, and also to say no to gender-based violence, whether it be at home, or it be at schools or anywhere else, to educate them that saying no, so they can be aware to say no, this is wrong, because that's how we are going to educate our children. Our children are educated by us as leaders or as the older youth, saying, educating our youth, saying no, this is how you deal with a certain issue. Say for instance gender-based violence, this is wrong, because these are our future. These are your future wives. This is how. This is how you need to
essentially approach the children.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nicolette.
So much.
I want to bring in Charlotte as well before we wrap up the conversation with the ladies to speak about what has happened in terms of crime intervention. Ma'am, if we could just also ask you to come through here. I've spoken to you about how much of the residents' time is given towards watching what's happening around you, making sure there's no criminal element. Can you speak to what you guys do in that regard?
Well, as a member of the Neighborhood Watch, we actually would like to have more CPF and SAPs, more visibility of them in our community, so that stuff like this in our areas does not happen again. Mm-hmm. So we need to combat crime, and if we work as a community together, we can get things done.
You have people that essentially stand, they're either watching from their window or patrolling at night?
Yes, we do. We have window watchers, which the women do. The women stand by their windows and watch, and while the men patrol. So if there's any activity in the road, the women therefore alert the men that are patrolling on the road and send them to the necessary roads.